Every year you have gimmicks for me when I come on the stage.
Oh, what could be? There could be no gimmicks here. I wouldn't worry about a thing. Maybe you should describe what you're seeing. I mean, I don't really know what we're seeing. And I'm just gonna.
Whoa. Whoa. I think I saw this in a movie once.
Yeah.
Whoa!
That's what you get. That's for being late 2 years ago. And this is for that one review of that one product. I can't remember.
Hours of fun for the whole family.
And this is for not taking out the recycling.
And you're controlling these, aren't you? You have a remote? That is so cool.
Yeah, Dave, you want to take
And
over?
so tell us what these are?
These are combat creatures attachments.
Attachments.
These attachments are this full.
We've got ritual escape.
The guy who's responsible is up there, David. He's Skyped in. So
Oh, hi, there he is.
You come over here. You can actually see him. He can see you.
Here you are. How are you?
This is David Pogue.
We just shot the audience with your toy.
You just broke my toy.
We sent two people to the hospital.
Well done, good work. But I'm here in Hong Kong at the moment, so that's why I'm in a hotel room. I'm in a dressing gown. Okay, so 9 o'clock in the morning here. So I know that you guys are playing with my toys over there, the new attack bits. Well, we're launching them over here in Hong Kong at the same time.
Oh, so we can't buy these yet?
No, not yet. You can buy them in the fall. But we launched them in the UK, and it's been a huge success. And then we've upgraded to Mark IIs, loads of new technology, loads of new stuff, and that's what you guys are getting. You guys always get something better than we get in the UK.
Let me have it.
Yeah. Sorry, I wasn't listening. Did you say something?
Just because I work out there, you just keep playing.
I'm seeing how reliable they are.
Lemmings.
They seem to be pretty rugged. Very cool. Well, thank you very much. We appreciate the sneak preview.
Attack Neds, well done. Thank you very much, guys. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Thanks.
Thanks a lot.
Cheerio.
Very cool.
Okay.
So, hi, I'm David Pogue. I'm the tech columnist for the New York Times, and more recently, TV host. Somehow I fell into this job of working for Nova on PBS. I've done 4 science miniseries for them, and yet, oddly, I am not a scientist. And you will see why that all makes sense in just a second. It might be upside down.
Do you play one on TV?
I do play one on TV. Okay, so let's see if audio. Yeah, there's audio also to this presentation. All right. Wow, that's cool.
David's running Windows and
I've never seen
things
that.
on this.
Okay, that's Windows. That's not what we want. That's not what we want.
Live though. That's
All right, so that'll work. It's kind of amazing. So I'm writing a book on Windows 8, which I don't recommend. They're writing the book part. Actually, I don't recommend the other one either. But it's what's amazing is I'm writing it on a MacBook Air. So this is Windows 8, and I've got that. And I'm flipping in parallels. I'm flipping back and forth between that and the book that I'm actually writing. It's amazing that I can have 2 laptops on the same thing. Okay, anyway, so we have a science problem in America. 40% of us still believe in creationism. Half of us still don't believe there's such a thing as global warming. It's pretty distressing. When they look at the rates of scientific and mathematical prowess on tests, the United States, among the 220 countries of the world, is somewhere around 300. We're like really not doing well. And it's a shame. I think that the simple reason is that people are fundamentally afraid of things they don't understand. So when someone says, stem cell research, or the world is heating up, people say, no, it's not true. It couldn't be true. So it's a shame because science is very cool. There's some great stories to be told. I, as I mentioned, am not a scientist. I started out as a Broadway conductor, believe it or not, and spent 10 years working in Broadway pit orchestras. And now I'm a gadget person, write books and newspaper columns. But the weirdest thing happened a few years ago. The National Science Foundation, which as you may know is your tax dollars at work to promote science in this country, gave PBS a grant, $3 million grant, to make a TV series about materials science. It's an interdisciplinary field involving the properties of matter and its applications to various areas of science and engineering. Investigates the relationship between the structure of materials at atomic or molecular scales and their macroscopic properties. As a TV series, it's the next Honey Boo Boo. I mean, this is like screaming to be a TV show, don't you think? Oh my God. So Nova thought the same thing. Nova is the science series on PBS. So they basically sat on this grant for 9 years thinking, no, we're not going there. And the grant was about to expire, and finally they said, all right, we got to deal with this thing. We're either going to do it or return the money. So they hired this guy, Chris Schmidt. He's a genius. He's a longtime producer for Nova and PBS and National Geographic and Discovery. And he had this idea. Okay, Nova has been on TV for 40 years. It's narrated. There's nobody on camera. But what if we did something radical? We'll find some guy who's not a scientist, but who's a good interviewer, maybe funny, and we'll immerse him in these extreme situations to illustrate the scientific points. He'll be an on-camera host. I know that you're not used to that, but trust me on this. So they decided to do that. This is the show.
Here in Grand Bahama, it's just another day at the office. And this is serious business.
Do you have a history of bleeding?
I do have a history of bleeding. Every time I get cut, without fail.
I'm the only one on this crew who's not getting a suit of chainmail.
We are here on a quest to unlock the secrets of shark skin. That's right, sharks are covered with tiny scales that somehow repel microbes. They're the inspiration for a technology that could be coming soon to a hospital near you. This surface mimics the texture of shark skin. In a lab, the advantages are clear. It keeps deadly bacteria at bay.
Bacteria can't colonize and proliferate. The physical modification of the surface is not allowing them to do that.
Just one way that nature is inspiring the far-out field called materials science. These visionaries are dreaming big and devising ingenious ways to make materials stronger, smaller, smarter, and cleaner.
This is a carbon nanotube.
I thought they were going to be a lot smaller.
Oh man, it's like a nuclear tanning bed. In a 4-part Nova series, we set out across the globe to find the ultimate stuff of the future. Hang on, it's gonna be a wild ride.
The real demolition derby. You up for this?
I'm up for this. Now we'll see what steel can really do.
We're the Starsky and Hutch of science nerds. Can I have some rock music, please? Would you mind not smashing up the PBS logo?
Imagine an airplane with wings that morph in flight, bacteria that make gasoline out of thin air, tiny robots that target tumors. It's not a page out of sci-fi, it's real stuff.
This gives the ability to control the motion deep inside a person's body.
This here's an artificial muscle? Artificial muscle? These are your lab assistants?
We'll examine materials under development today that could open the door to the next great revolution. Will they be man-made or found in nature? We find answers in some surprising places.
So here's where we keep our spiders. Whoa, can I try it?
You're certainly welcome to. We normally use the electric just because it's a whole lot faster.
But you've never seen me milk a cow.
We'll look at so-called smart materials that can sense and react.
Oh my gosh, it feels slimy. That's the technical word.
And what are the limits of these designer materials? We put the stuff of the future to the test.
Underestimate me, sir.
This is a self-healing, self-sealing coating.
These are bullet holes? Where's the bullets?
In the tank.
One thing is certain, these groundbreaking new materials will transform the world we live in.
There are estimates that we could increase the effective generating capacity in this country by 15% without building one power plant.
Just by adding batteries?
By adding batteries.
The remarkable new shape of things to come.
It's about 1/100th of a human hair. It's stronger than steel.
Oh my gosh, it's amazing.
Making stuff. Coming soon on Nova.
So that was on a year ago. That's the poster. It's looks like the love child of Charlton Heston and Stephen Colbert. But there were 4 episodes: making stuff smarter, making stuff stronger, making stuff cleaner, making stuff smaller. It did very well, so we made a follow-up show, a 2-hour special about another singing, dancing television topic, the periodic table of the elements. But it was very cool. And then I just finished on a 3rd series that just finished airing called Nova Science Now. I think that's still in replay. It's kind of more of a family-friendly magazine-style science show. So it launched this whole side career for me by complete accident. And again, the idea was to throw a normal person into extreme scientific situations. That shark skin stuff is unbelievable. I don't know if you got it from the trailer, but this synthetic shark skin works the same as regular shark skin, which is to say nothing can grow on it, not bacteria or algae. And so when they put it in hospitals, on railings and bedpans and things that people touch, like, I assume you know that in hospitals, one of the biggest problems right now is you go in with one disease and you come out with something else. Hospitals are hotbeds for catching other people's infections. So until now, what we've been trying to do is kill the bacteria with chemicals. And as you know from the Purell bottle, you can only kill 99.9% of them. And then the rest live on to become super virus, super bacteria that you can't kill. I don't know if you've heard of MRSA. MRSA, it's something like resistance strain antibiotic. Anyway, MRSA is a bacteria that cannot be killed with any chemical we've got. And so last year, MRSA killed more people in this country than AIDS. It's a horrible problem. So this guy came up with the synthetic shark skin, and it works. They put it on doorknobs and light switches, and now, instead of trying to kill the bacteria, we're just sending them away. We're saying, go somewhere else where people won't touch it. So to illustrate this point, they sent me diving in the Bahamas with these sharks. And when you see the footage, and by the way, all these shows are available for free at pbs.org. It's your tax money work. So you see me sitting there with my hands on my armpits. And the reason for that is that the handler on the left advised me that she would be swirling chum, bloody fish guts, through the water to attract the sharks. And it would probably be not a good idea for me to wave my hands too. Because the shark might think, and even so, as you can see in the picture, like if this is the lady with the chum, the shark, and that's me right there, the shark would be like, "Oh, have you got some too?" You know, like come right at me. It's like the water around me got much warmer. So we landed on a nuclear aircraft carrier. Rode in that demolition derby to illustrate the tensile strength of steel. Went hang gliding. That's unbelievable. Next time you take your kid to Orlando, consider taking one day instead of going to Disney World to take him to this place, Wallaby Ranch. The guy has done 70,000 tandem flights since the 70s when he pioneered the sport without a single accident. And for $100, he takes you up. It's not the dangerous kind where you go off a cliff. That's where people get killed. On these, they tow you up in an ultralight plane very gently. And then when you get to the altitude you want, you unclip from the plane and you just soar for half an hour back to the ground. It's the most life-changing experience of your life. For Nova Science Now, one episode was what makes us human, trying to determine what differentiates us from the animals. A lot of people say it's because only humans laugh. So we went to the Cincinnati Zoo to see if that were true. That's me tickling a baby elephant. That's me tickling a baby penguin. And actually, that's something everyone should also do before you die. So I had what I thought was great success. I was tickling this thing, and it was doing it. It was like, I'm like, hey, I laughs. I made a scientific point. And the zookeeper guy goes, I'm like, what? Didn't you hear him? He goes, he's not laughing. I'm like, what do you think that was? He goes, you're arousing him. sometimes I can wash my hands. Did beekeeping, fired an AK-47, rode the world's fastest electric motorcycle. And this is a really interesting story. So there's this goop called magnetorheological fluid. It's like motor oil with finely dissolved metal particles in it. And what's cool about it is when you put an electromagnetic force on it, the goop hardens. So it turns from a liquid to a solid in the presence of a magnet. So what they're doing is they're putting this stuff in shock absorbers on high-end cars, especially the military in Iraq and Afghanistan, who have to drive for hours over lousy roads. They've enhanced the shock absorbers in our Jeeps using this stuff because the electromagnet is adjusting the stiffness of the shocks hundreds of times a second per bump. So here's a little excerpt from the show. It's not my narration yet. This is really good.
Make the seat recline anyway. What the fuck? That was pretty bouncy. Sell tickets to this thing.
For round 2, the Humvee gets Lord's shock absorbers. Flexible reactions built right into the material.
This is nothing. How do I adjust the AC?
So when we visited this company in North Carolina that makes these shocks, we thought the head scientist lady thought she would do a joke on me. She thought she'd have a little cup of this vile-looking fluid, and she'd put a magnet in her hand under it. But I wouldn't know that. So she would pretend that she was going to spill it on me, throw it on me, but of course the magnet would make it instantly harden, and none of it would actually emerge from the cup. It didn't work out that way.
Oh my God.
Shirt was gone. Just nothing will ever get that up. And we studied gecko. Gecko feet are amazing. I don't know if you know this, a gecko can support 200 times its own weight on glass. Like even on shiny surfaces, and yet the feet are not sticky. They do not feel any stickier than your own hand. I know, it's amazing. The robot started reacting. The reason is they have these tiny, tiny microfibers on their feet that use something called van der Waals forces, this intermolecular force multiplied by thousands of branching feathers that allow them to do that. So the military is very interested in adapting this. They think if only we could make gloves like that. So we shot a really funny sequence in a green screen that illustrated how that would work.
Real reason to develop gecko adhesive, so you can do this.
Now you know how we did that. Now you know how they did Spider-Man.
Okay, unbutton. Nobody has gecko gloves this good. At least nobody who's talking. Military. But
Anyway, for one episode they made me up into a Neanderthal and had me walk the streets of San Francisco. I don't know if you're aware of this, but all of you have between 2 and 6% Neanderthal DNA in you. So gentlemen, as far as I'm concerned, that lets you off the hook for the occasional underwear on the floor. So that was the end result. Yes, it's true. Our ancestors, many 35,000 years ago, there used to be 4 species of humans. I don't know if you know that. Neanderthals, which we call cavemen, that was one. Our ancestors were another, and there were 2 others. 3 of those died out. We're the only ones left. But our ancestors and the Neanderthals had sex. It's true, and our DNA, we have their DNA. At the end of the day, they sent me to the top of the San Francisco rotating restaurant to play cocktail piano. I love this guy. Can I just eat my steak, for Christ's sake? Anyway, we did a thing on next generation lie detection. This is really wild. The FBI is experimenting with eye tracking. And for example, when you see a face, they've discovered that your eyes instinctively, if it's somebody you know, go eyes, nose, mouth. A triangle like that on George Bush. That's what my eyes did unconsciously when I saw that photo. But if you see a stranger you've never seen before, you go face, hair, ear line, you take in much more. And so that way they can tell if a suspect is telling the truth or not about, have you ever seen this guy before? Another really amazing thing they do, they'll take a photo of the crime scene, but they'll Photoshop the dead body into a different place in the room. And only the guy who really did it will instinctively look where it used to be. Wow. Isn't that brilliant? So brilliant. Yeah, they're also trying to do brainwave lie detection. That's what that was. Either that or that's when I got a perm, I'm not sure. Yeah, left octopus hickeys all over my face. We did a thing on homing pigeons. How do they work? How do they do it? To illustrate this, they had a referee. They put me in that van, drove me for an hour into the Arizona desert, and had me race the pigeon home. They released both of us in the middle of nowhere. They gave me a compass and car keys and said, go. And I wasn't allowed to have a phone with me, so I like, the pigeon beat me by like 8 hours. Today, oh, this is 900 pages and just about dead. This is the blooper reel. Nobody's seen this. Shove it up your O'Reilly. Manuscript's done, and I don't goddamn care. Sorry. Yay! Yay! David doesn't have a roof over his head.
So we've just done our little test in the tank there, and what we're going to do now.
You're welcome. That's just for the blooper reel. We like to commence the glass breaking test. This is Gorilla Glass. I wasn't ready. I understand that this is where the disease mono first evolved. Okay, oops. I have to tell you. Oh shoot. Okay. So you know what B-roll is? So when you make a TV show, like there's the interview where I interview the guy, and then later they say, now let's just film some stuff without sound, just you working at your desk, or you two walking down the hall, and that'll provide footage during which the narrator can say, Bob Smith from the University of Chicago, ain't that right? So that's called B-roll. So this one scientist was so funny. We were at Mono Lake in California, and so as a joke, I'm walking with the scientist, I said, so I understand this is where the disease mono came from. And you'll see, he instantly had a comeback for me. I wasn't ready. I understand that this is where the disease mono first evolved.
It did indeed settled into the lymph nodes of a woman named Manisha.
Yeah, I know.
Looks like it's coming out of his knee.
And
No.
just to me, oh,
I'm going to flip it upside down and put it into a state of tonic immobility.
honey, just think, you're having sex.
Should I worry that my gloves are on fire?
We have a little problem. The bottle fell in the fake pee and splashed me. Why is it that our lungs are not exploding out of our chests?
Because what you're breathing is N2 and O2, not NO3, because that would kill you. That would kill you, David.
And so is the...
You would die. I wouldn't be able to talk anymore.
What are you suggesting? Fly, be free. Oh great, she's stuck that way.
So we set up all the mouse traps here, and we put ping pong balls on each one of those mouse traps. It simulates a nuclear chain reaction.
And that's a nuclear chain reaction, folks.
That way.
Anyway, so what does this have to do with anything? What does this have to do with children? What does it have to do with science? What does it have to do with America? Well, the astonishing thing was that this show that for 9 years was considered unproducible about a subject that nobody thought people would watch TV about wound up being a 4-hour miniseries that got the highest ratings in 7 years. It blew everybody's brains out. Something about the combination of great stories and humor and going on location and clear writing inspired people. It was just an astonishing reaction. That's why we decided to make those other, the Element special. And now, as a matter of fact, next month, we're starting a sequel. We're going to be doing Making Stuff 2, And the episodes this time will be making stuff colder, making stuff faster, making stuff safer, and making stuff wilder. And I'm like, safer? That sounds like it's going to be the most boring show in the world. And they're like, oh no, that's going to be the most interesting one. I'm like, why? Because, like, for example, they've got this motorcycle suit that inflates like an airbag when you fall off. So we'll put you on a motorcycle. I see where this is going. So science is cool. I mean, there are some incredible stories to tell. There is no reason for it to be dull. Whether it's teaching it, whether it's television, whether it's products. Now, I have to say before we go on that we did have challenges in doing these shows this way. I once wrote a book called Opera for Dummies. And in researching this book, it's not the web browser. It's the art form. And what not many people realize is opera did not used to be a snobby, elitist, repressed tuxedo and ball gown affair. When opera was in its heyday a couple of hundred years ago, you'd put on your jeans, you'd take food, you'd throw tomatoes if the singer was bad. I mean, it was like going to the movies. It was like a much more populist affair. And science should be like that too. I don't know where it got to be serious. Like, it doesn't need to be serious. So Nova has been serious for 40 years. These shows were a lot lighter, and they made fun of things that deserve to be made fun of, because humor is part of the whole human picture, if you ask me. So it did not go down well with everybody. We did a sneak peek of making stuff in Washington, D.C. a few weeks before it aired, and there was this old guy out in the back of the audience who said, I've been watching Nova for 40 years, and I've never seen such crap in my life. What is this humor? And he was shaking mad, like they were moving his cheese. And I routinely get emails like this. Your O'Reilly books are great, your New York Times articles are great, your PBS shows are great, but your humor on PBS is so bad, I just have to let you know. Try watching as if you're not you. So there are obstacles. Another obstacle is the shoot schedule for these things. I've got 3 kids. The shoot schedules are outrageous. I mean, there were entire months where I was home for like 4 days of the entire month flying around shooting these shows. So why do it? Why push back against the people who think science should be serious, the traditionalists, to be gone all the time, to spend a lot of government money on science shows, on topics that some people don't agree with, global warming, blah, blah, blah. Well, I got this email. My 7-year-old daughter, Eva, may be one of your biggest fans. Last spring when PBS aired Making Stuff, she got hooked on the series. We had to buy it on DVD. We've watched episodes several times a week for the entire year. Poor father. She's been in a state of extreme anticipation to see Honey the Elements. As it aired this evening, she could not be budged from the program by thirst or hunger. Crying baby sister, she had to see every minute of it well past her bedtime. Today we found out you're revisiting our home state of Oklahoma next week. For 5 hours, she talked about nothing but science elements and getting your autograph. Maybe meeting you would be a highlight of her life thus far. So why do we do it? Why do we go through the trouble and the expense and the travel? That is why. She carries around the show's DVD like it's a teddy bear. That's it. So anyway, so there's a little look into the adventure I've just been on. We'll see you in November for Making Stuff 2. Nice to see you all.